Good morning, children. Welcome to economics class. Uh, Today, let us see indifference curve analysis. Before going to the indifference curve analysis, we need to understand what were the two broad approaches uh, uh, in economics. In economics, when you see any problem would be taken in a two broad analysis. One is the cardinal utility analysis, the other is the ordinal utility analysis. Under cardinal utility analysis, it is understood or it is presumed that utility is measurable. Utility means what? Want satisfying power of a commodity. So according to the cardinal utility analysis, utility was measurable, and we so far learned the theories based on cardinal utility analysis were margin utility theory, law of diminishing marginal utility, law of demand, the concept of consumer surplus, and law of equimarginal utility. All these topics were based on the concept of cardinal utility analysis, where we were able to measure utility, that is satisfaction, in numbers. But there were few economists like Edgeworth, Vilfredo Pareto, and Italian economists. They criticized cardinal utility analysis, and they said that in reality we can never measure satisfaction. That is true only to some extent. Can you measure how much happy you were by eating one cup full of pasta? Definitely we cannot say that, but you can only feel that happiness. But can you give a number to that? It is not possible. But here these people say that people attain satisfaction, or you cannot precisely measure what is utility, measure utility absolutely, but you can compare or you can rank or order your preferences by giving 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so these economists assumed that utility, you cannot precisely measure utility, but rather you can rank your preferences, which they studied under the concept called as scale of preferences. So the study of the consumer's behavior, it was known as the indifference curve approach. It was done in 1881, underline this, and in 1906, Vilfredo Pareto, he modified whatever was given by Edgeworth approach. Okay, and again, Vilfredo Pareto's approach was also refined by Hicks and Allen, and it was the concept of indifference approach was refined and given in the year 1934, and the same was published by J.R. Hicks in his book Value and Capital in the year 1939. Just understand who were the people who initiated the concept of cardinal utility analysis. And first it was Edgeworth. He was an English economist, and later Vilfredo Pareto modified that. And in the year 1934, it was Hicks and Allen who refined the concept of indifference curve approach. And in the year 1939, Hicks published this concept in his book called as Value and Capital. That's all. Now, let us understand the theory of indifference curve analysis. It is purely based on scale of preferences. This theory is based on what? Scale of preferences. That is, you prefer this to that. Okay, see, when given two, two or three beverages, coffee, tea, Horlicks. Okay, you can, normally what would we say? I prefer coffee. Coffee is my first preference. We say like that, is it? Next comes Horlicks, and next only I prefer tea or something. So this might change according to person to person. So this concept of a rating or giving a position, a place, you call it as scale of preferences. Likewise, when you go to hotel, normally we do not order the same commodity and eat normally. Okay, we have preferences, is it? When you go to you have preferences. You might prefer continental dish, or you might prefer a Chinese dish. Okay, so your preference for that commodity will be first, and then after that your preference might be some other commodity or some other delicacy also. So the consumers, they can arrange the goods and their combination in such a way that they get their maximum satisfaction. In reality, when you see, we have got only limited amount of money with us. With this limited amount of money availability, we need to spend that money in such a way, okay, that that we give preferences for the product. We don't spend the money in the commodity that which we do not prefer, rather. So we order the commodities according to our preferences, and in such a way that every commodity that we choose gives us equal amount of satisfaction. Okay, this concept you call it as indifference curve analysis. Whenever there is a theory or a new approach or a concept being implemented, they will go with certain assumptions. What are those assumptions? Here, the consumer who is taken for consideration is a rational man. A rational man is a man who thinks in a normal aspect, where for the money spent he has to get the best satisfaction. Such a man only you call him as a rational person. Next is utility cannot be cardinally measured. One of the important assumption is utility cannot be measured. In the previous laws and all, what was the main assumption? Utility is measurable. That was one of the biggest assumption there. But here, according to ordinal analysis, utility, you cannot measure utility, but what can you do? You can rank or compare or order. Okay, in what numbers? Ordinal numbers. Ordinal numbers is what? Roman numbers. Class 1, class 2, place 1, place 2. We give, where do we give all this ordinal numbers? For numbering the classes we use, and for giving first place, second place, third place. For that we use the ordinal numbers. Next is, this concept of indifference approach is based on diminishing marginal rate of substitution. I shall teach you in the forthcoming topic. The concept of the consumer is a consistent person. That is, for example, if 3 commodities are given, he can definitely say that he prefers A to B and B to C. That is, 3 commodities are given. Okay, his first preference is A. Second preference is B. Third preference is C. So automatically it goes that he prefers A to C. Okay, that is what is assumed here. Next is indifference schedule. Schedule means normally it is a combination, various combination. Here they have taken 2 commodities for understanding. Okay, 2 commodities are taken. The various combinations of commodities are taken, where at all point of time you get the same level of satisfaction. Okay, this table which shows the schedule of various combinations of 2 commodities which gives same level of satisfaction, you call it as indifference schedule. What do you call it as? Indifference schedule. It is a table where different combinations, 2 goods are taken. Okay, when you consume 2 goods, you get the same amount of satisfaction. Just you could understand this from the table here. Table is otherwise schedule. Okay, indifference schedule. You consume 2 commodities. What are the 2 commodities? Apples and oranges. Okay. Now, at point R, you are consuming 1 apple and 20 oranges. Please listen carefully, because I have to teach you the concept of marginal rate of substitution also here. Please listen. Okay. And if you need a pause, put a pause and then rewind it and then listen to the explanation. Okay. 2 commodities are taken for illustration, apple and orange. And the money that we have with us is limited only. Now with this limited amount of money, I need to choose apple and orange in such a way that I get the same level of satisfaction. That is done in the indifference schedule. If I have to choose 1 apple, with that money, I can choose 20 apples where I get the same level of satisfaction. Okay. Now when I increase my apple, now I have to increase, if I wanted to consume 2 apples, definitely I have to forego what? Oranges. You have to forego how much? You are foregoing 5 oranges here. Okay. Now at the point yes, at the combination yes, it means that I am taking 2 apples and 15 oranges, where it gives me same level of satisfaction like R. Likewise, as you increase the number of apples, the number of oranges are decreasing. That is, when you are increasing the apple by 1, you have to substitute oranges, or you have to forego oranges by 5 numbers. 3 numbers, 2 numbers, 1 number. Okay, when you consume 1 apple, 20 oranges you are able to consume, so you get the satisfaction. When you consume 1 extra additional apple, how much are you foregoing here? From 20 it comes out to 15. Okay, so 5 oranges you are foregoing, you are giving up. Next, when you want 1 more additional apple, from 15 it comes to 12 oranges, which means, okay, you are foregoing 3 oranges here. Okay, now when you consume 4 apples, you are able to consume 10 oranges, where you get the same level of satisfaction, but 1 apple here substitutes 2 oranges. Just you would observe the difference here. 20 minus 15, 5, 15 minus 12, 3, 12 minus 10, 2, 10 minus 1, 9. Here the rate of substitution for 1 apple is from 5, it decreases to 3, then it decreases to 2, then it decreases to 1. So at what rate you are substituting? You are substituting at a diminishing rate. Okay, at what rate are you substituting? You are substituting at a diminishing rate. That is, from 5, the substitution has decreased to 3, from 3 it has decreased to 2, from 2 it has decreased to 1. This you call it as marginal rate of diminishing substitution, diminishing marginal rate of substitution. The assumptions we saw is the third point. This is that concept. Now let us, with this table, you can draw a curve which we call it as indifference curve. Now just look into the nature of the substitution. When one is increasing, the other is decreasing. Whenever two variables move in the opposite direction, they are called as inverse variations. Whenever there exists an inverse variation, the curve will always be a downward sloping curve only. Now, to construct the indifference curve, we take, in the x-axis we take apples, in the y-axis we take oranges, and take the first combination R. At R, 20 oranges, 1 apple. Plot the point. At S, 15 oranges, 2 apples. Plot that point. At T, 12 oranges, 3 apples. Plot that point. When you plot all these points, when you join the line that you get, or the curve that you get, is called the indifference curve. With the help of the indifference curve, you can construct with the help of the indifference schedule or table, you can construct the indifference curve. Now, at any point R, S, T, U, V on this curve, which we name it as IC curve, which means indifference curve. At any point on the indifference curve, it means same level of satisfaction is experienced by the consumer. That concept only you call it as what? Indifference curve approach. Now there is a definition. Whatever I have explained you is only given in these paragraphs. Okay, so we need a definition or a clear explanation of what is indifference curve. It is the locus of combinations of commodities from which the consumer derives the same level of satisfaction. That is, at any point on IC, it means the consumer is getting same level of satisfaction. Okay, so this curve is otherwise called as iso-utility curve. Utility means what? In economics, utility means what? One satisfying power. That is your satisfaction level. So this indifference curve is also called as iso-utility curve. Iso means same level of satisfaction at any point on the curve. Other name is equal satisfaction curve. Please underline this and underline the sentence, an indifference curve is a locus of all combinations of commodities, because this could be asked in 2 marks where you need to write this, you need to draw the diagram. Okay. Now, how is the diagram drawn? As how I told you, x-axis apple is taken, y-axis orange is taken. Now, let us go to the next topic. What is an indifference map? See, when 2 or 3 indifference curves, a set of indifference curves or collection of indifference curve or a family of indifference curve is called a map. Very simple. Indifference map means what? Several indifference curve, okay, representing different levels of satisfaction. When you look into the curve, you could see red color IC3 curve, blue color IC2 curve, green color IC1 curve, which means at any point on IC1, it means same level of satisfaction. And at IC2, any point on IC2, same level of satisfaction. any point on IC3 means same level of satisfaction. But the satisfaction of IC3 is greater than the satisfaction at IC2, which is greater than the satisfaction at IC1. So, IC1 means lower level of satisfaction. IC3 higher level of satisfaction. So, whenever the curve is represented to the right hand side, always it means the higher level of satisfaction. You could see here in the diagram, okay, the indifference curves IC1, 2 and 3 represents indifference map. Upper IC, which is according to this example, it is IC3. It means higher level of satisfaction. IC1, it means lower level of satisfaction. Now only we saw what is marginal rate of substitution. Okay, let us learn the definition given by Leftwich. Marginal rate of substitution of X for Y. A marginal rate of substitution, you can write it as MRS of X on Y. How much of Y you are substituting for X? Okay, is defined as maximum amount of Y the consumer is willing to give up for getting one additional unit of X and still remain the same level of indifference curve. Here, according to our example, okay, how much oranges, that is Y is orange. In Y-axis, we have taken orange. How much oranges a consumer is willing to give up? He is ready to forego for getting how much? 1 unit of apple, which is taken in X-axis. Okay, still he experiences the same level of satisfaction. As satisfaction doesn't reduce, it remains at the same level. So, how much of 1 unit of of Y is given up for getting 1 unit of X? That we call it as marginal rate of substitution. Next, you have the same thing as the concept is given here. The formula is also given here. MRS of X on Y, you can take it as change in Y by change in X. Delta Y by delta X. Highlight this also. Now, always the indifference curve, you just now saw the two variables, they move in the opposite direction. Always it is a downward sloping curve. Now, we have the properties of indifference curve. So, whenever it is downward sloping, you can call it as a negative sloping curve, because both of the variables, they move in the opposite direction. When one increases, the other is decreasing. Now, indifference curve, they have a negative slope, which denotes, okay, if quantity Y decreases, quantity X is increasing. That is what it means. Okay. Now, the next property is, all the indifference curves are convex to the origin. Just look at the curve here. Okay, it is convex, the origin is at O. Okay, when you look at the indifference curve, it is, you know what is concave and convex. Convex means the bulged portion is towards the origin. Okay, so it means that it is convex to the origin. What is the reason for the convexity? The reason for the convexity of the indifference curve is the diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Okay, few minutes back we saw, is it? Okay, the substitution rate keeps on diminishing. Okay, the amount of Y from 5, it diminishes to 3, from it diminishes to 2, it diminishes to 1. Okay, so for getting 1 unit of X, extra 1 unit of X. So this you call it as diminishing marginal rate of substitution. That is the reason why the indifference curve is convex to the origin. Please underline this particular paragraph. Okay, it is because of marginal rate of substitution. Next is, indifference curve cannot intersect each other. Previously we saw what is an indifference map, is it? Here we saw what is indifference map. No two indifference curve cut each other. Okay, this is the next point. Okay, the indifference curve do not touch each other, do not cut each other, they do not intersect. Now let us understand with this diagram. X-axis, commodity X is taken, commodity Y is taken in the Y-axis. Now look at the diagram here. IC1, normally the IC curve, when it is towards the axis, near the axis, it means lower level of satisfaction. If it is away from the axis, it is higher level of satisfaction. Can we take it as right hand side, left hand side? If it is to the left hand side, it means lower level of satisfaction. To the right hand side, it means higher level of satisfaction. Now, according to this diagram, we feel IC1 is lower here. lower level, which can I take it as lower level of satisfaction? Okay, IC2 is on the right hand side. We are just assuming. Okay, now when you see, just take IC1, B and C lies on IC1, which means both B and C are having same level of satisfaction. That is, C is equal to B. That is what we can understand, because same amount of satisfaction is experienced. Can I take a number as 100? C is equal to B is equal to 100. I take it like that. Now just look into IC2. C and A lies on IC2. That means any point lying on IC2 means same level of satisfaction. Now higher level of satisfaction, for my understanding only I am taking. I'll take it as 200. Now if I say on IC2, C is equal to A, which is equal to 200. Now according to the previous statement, B is equal to C. Now it is equal to 100. Now it means that 100 is equal to 200. Is it right? Definitely we cannot take it in that way. So this proves that no two indifference curve can cut each other. So this such a type of indifference curve is not at all possible. See, look at the explanation here. C is equal to B on IC1, C is equal to A on IC2, so A is equal to B. Whereas A is in upper IC and B is in lower IC. This is not at all possible. Next is the indifference curve. They do not touch the vertical axis or the horizontal axis. They do not touch the x-axis or y-axis, because according to our understanding, you need to consume two commodities X and Y, which means one commodity cannot be zero, the other commodity cannot be the full. So when it is touching the x-axis, it means 0 units of Y is consumed, which is wrong again. When it is touching y-axis, it means 0 units of X is consumed, that is also wrong. So indifference curve do not touch the horizontal axis or the vertical axis. So these are the 4 points. Okay, very easy to learn, children. Okay, 4 points. Okay, you need to just write the points below that, draw the diagram. That is enough. Okay, diagram is compulsory for a 3-mark answer. Okay, you need to write the 4 points and the diagram pertaining to that. Next is budget line. Budget line or price line. See, price line or budget line is decided by 2 factors. The demand for good depends upon, one is I prefer the commodity, so I buy it. The other is my purchasing power. Okay, my purchasing, whether I have the purchasing power. The purchasing power again depends upon what? My income. Okay, my income only will decide whether I am able to buy the commodity or not. Okay, and apart from that, the price of the commodity. See, if my income is 10,000, I cannot desire to buy a product which is 15,000. So the price level also will decide the purchasing power of the commodity. So the budget line, again, it is a downward sloping curve, where it means any point on line AB means same amount of money is being spent. Okay, that is what we understand from this budget line. Next is, with the help of the budget line and the indifference curve, we will be able to understand at what point the consumer equilibrium is reached. The consumer reaches the equilibrium. Okay, at which point, using the budget line and the indifference curve map. Now let me listen to the explanation carefully. Okay, the concept is very, very simple to understand. In the x-axis, we have taken coffee. The y-axis, we have taken tea. Now again, AB is nothing but budget line. Budget line means the amount of money that I have for spending on tea and coffee. Okay, I cannot spend beyond AB. Neither if I am spending below AB, it means I am having 1000 rupees, I am spending only 800 rupees. So I will not get the satisfaction. Okay, now look at the 4 lines, that is indifference curves, IC1, IC2, IC3 and IC4. IC1 means lower level of satisfaction. IC4 highest level of satisfaction. Okay, now as a rational consumer, if you are a rational consumer, if you have got 10,000 rupees with you, you will always see that if I'm spending 10,000 rupees, I should get the best benefit. I should get the maximum amount of satisfaction. That is what every consumers will feel, is it? As a rational man, every one of us, we feel I need to spend minimum. At the same time, I should get the maximum amount of satisfaction. I have to consume more goods. I have to buy more number of dresses by spending within my limits. Okay, I should get the best satisfaction also. I should not increase my budget. I will neither spend less amount of money because I will not be happy then. So I have to spend the same amount of money whatever I have budget. At the same time, I have to get the maximum number of dresses for the Diwali. That is the rational thinking. Okay, like all of us, we will think only in this manner. Now let us see, according to this, which curve gives best satisfaction? Red color IC curve gives best satisfaction. Where do I get the least satisfaction? The yellow IC curve, that is IC1. Now what is the budget here? AB is the budget. Let me assume my budget is 10,000 rupees, which means any point on AB, I am spending only 10,000 rupees. Now if you see, if I take point that is the budget line touches the yellow curve at 2 points. Okay, the budget line AB, it touches the yellow indifference curve at 2 points. It means that I am spending 10,000 rupees, but my level of satisfaction is only less. Okay, now let me see green color curve, indifference curve. When I compare the indifference curve IC2 with AB curve, it touches at 2 points where I can take that particular combination. It is going to give me satisfaction which is better than the yellow color IC curve, IC1 curve. Okay, now I take IC3. IC3 curve, it touches the budget line at 1 point, that is at point T, which means at that particular point I am able to consume OM of coffee and OM of tea. I am spending how much rupees? I am spending the same amount of 10,000 rupees. I am getting a satisfaction more than IC1 and IC2. Okay, so this is what so when we compare all the other points on green curve or yellow curve, my satisfaction is better at IC3 where I consume OM units of coffee and ON units of tea. Now let me go to IC4. IC4, the budget line never touches IC4 at any point, which means at IC4, though I get better satisfaction, the highest level of satisfaction I might get, but my purse will not fit that. My budget is only 10,000 rupees. If I choose any point on IC4, it means that I have to spend more. When I am spending more, I am not happy. Okay, so I have to choose the point T where I am spending same 10,000 rupees, but I am getting the maximum amount of satisfaction. So this is a point where the consumer attains satisfaction. Okay, it is given in the words, consumer reaches equilibrium at the point where the budget line is tangent on the indifference curve. We all know, we might have learnt in lower classes. What is a tangent? It is a tangent is a point where a line touches a curve or a circle at one point. Okay, that point you call it as tangent. Okay, it is tangential. So at point T, the budget line is tangential to the indifference curve. So T is the point of equilibrium. Okay, where the budget line is tangent to the indifference curve. IC3, the upper IC implies maximum possible satisfaction. Now there should be a formula to calculate the consumer's equilibrium. So at the equilibrium point, the slope of IC refers to MRS of marginal rate of substitution of X for Y. Okay, the slope of budget line, it refers to price of X divided by price of Y. So the marginal rate of substitution of X for Y is given by price of X and price of Y, because the price of the commodities only will decide my budget line. Okay, and how do we arrive at the slope of the curve? Okay, in lower classes you might have learned m represents slope. What is the formula? Y1 y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Slope is, in the previous topic only we learned how we arrive at the marginal rate of substitution. Delta y by delta x, that is delta y is nothing but y2 minus y1, the change in y value, divided by delta x. Delta x is nothing but x2 minus x1. This you call it as MRS of x on y, that is marginal rate of substitution, which is otherwise a slope only. Okay, so marginal rate of substitution is arrived at the point where it is represented at t, where it is decided by the price of the x by price of y. Just highlight this topic alone. MRS means marginal rate of substitution of x for y. The consumer attains equilibrium at which point? At the point where MRS of x on y is equal to px by py. Now with this we are finishing the consumer's equilibrium also. In this lesson we have almost completed the cardinal analysis and ordinal analysis. And coming to the objectives, answers are provided in the in page number 52. I want all of you to mark the answers and learn it. And coming to the homework part, I want you to write question number 33. What are the properties of indifference curve? See, in the study material, there are some printing mistakes, children. So take the questions as such. Okay, instead of question number 32, question number 32 is distinguish between extension and contraction of demand. In the guide it is given with some other number, it is given as 31. Okay, your homework for the day will be question number 33. What are the properties of indifference curve? You need to just write the properties, draw the diagram. In the last class itself I have mentioned this question, but again no problem. Write the question and you can refer the book for the diagrams. And explain the concept of consumer surplus, whatever I taught you now. Okay, you can concept of consumer surplus. In the guide the question number is wrongly given, I think. The question number 30. Yes, the concept of consumers equilibrium with the diagram. The concept 30 and 34 are one and the same. Okay, there is some mistake in the guide. 30 and 34, the question is same. You can write whatever is given in the guide. For the concept of consumers equilibrium and explain the concept of consumers equilibrium with the diagram. Okay, both means the same. I want you to write that question, that is explain the concept of consumers equilibrium with diagram, properties of indifference curve with diagram. Then features of fonts, we finished all that. Okay, just a second. Then I want you to write law of demand. Okay, 3 answers I want you to write. Okay, refer the textbook and study material. That's all. Have a nice day, children. Bye-bye.